finally I got my hands on the Nextorch Pioneer MT20. Yeah, I've been wanting to test it out for I don't know how long, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Has some pretty unique parts to it, so yeah, it'll be pretty interesting. So yeah, let's unbox it and run through some tests. This tool is oriented towards rescue services, so you'll see why in a bit. But yeah, I'll take it out. Here it is. It's in red. And here's the pouch. And yeah, some paperwork. And I guess that's it. Let's put this to the side. And here it is. Yeah, actually looks really nice. The matte red finish looks super clean. Yeah, really cool. And here's the pouch. Yeah, it's a Velcro pouch, so yeah. But it's actually really sturdy. As you can see, when pushing it in, yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, first off, when it comes to the size, as you can see, this is about an average multi-tool when it comes to the size. It's a Rocktol GNR, so yeah, pretty similar. But if you want to be precise, here are the measurements, so yeah, you can see them on the screen. But yeah, it does also have a pretty sturdy locked clip when comparing it to the same Rocktol. Yeah, it's actually way sturdier, so it'll be pretty interesting to test it and see how it holds. But yeah, now let's check the tools, as that's where it shines. Yeah, first off, we have these massive spring-loaded scissors. The cool part about them is, first off, they are massive, so that's pretty cool. But the coolest part is this handle geometry. So yeah, actually sits in the hand very nice. So yeah, it's very comfortable. Unlike scissors like these, yeah, they're very different. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, let's run through all of the other tools a bit faster so we can jump to the tests. One of the coolest parts of this tool is actually this part. Yeah. Have you ever seen something like this? This is actually a zip tie cutter. So yeah, you place the zip tie here, and yeah, it's pretty cool to have a separate tool for it. We'll test it, how it works, but yeah, this is really nice. And yeah, interesting. You need to lock it back. Yeah. But now, the other tools, what do we have on the outside? Has these knobs, so they're easier to pull out. Yeah, there is a flat driver, so yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a seatbelt cutter. Yeah, looks actually pretty sharp, so that's pretty cool. A lot of multitools have very dull seatbelt cutters or wire cutters or whatever you call them. But yeah, this one seems pretty good. Then there's the knife. And comparing the size, let's compare it to the not the Roxxon, but Rocktol GNR. Yeah, and here it is. As it looks, yeah, it's quite a bit smaller. So we'll test how it feels during the cuts, but yeah, size-wise, it's quite a bit smaller. But that's because it has these other tools right opposite, unlike the Rocktol, which has nothing there. So yeah, you need to make some sacrifices here and there. So yeah, and there's a liner lock to lock the blade, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, on the other side, we have a pretty decent, sharp saw blade. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And again, size-wise, let's compare it to this one. It's actually thicker, but again, shorter. For a saw blade, I like a longer blade, but yeah, again, this handle geometry doesn't allow a longer blade, so yeah, sacrifices. Yeah. One more part on the outside is this glass breaker, which I almost missed, so yeah. Hope you can see it. It's on the end, so yeah, there's a small ball, so yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, you already saw the scissors, but this is actually not just a scissor multi-tool. This also has the usual needle nose pliers. Yeah, they're also spring loaded, so that's very nice. Let's compare them to the Rocktall again. Yeah, when it comes to the size, actually they're a bit smaller, but the difference is not that big. Also has the standard pliers here, and yeah, wire cutters replaceable, which is fairly standard now. Yeah, are there any other tools on the inside? Seems not. Yeah, there is also an oxygen tank wrench on the outside, so yeah, again, yeah, for emergency services, yeah, this tool is super nice. Or even if you enjoy mountain climbing or whatever, you need an oxygen tank, yeah, this is really nice. Yeah, I like how unique it is, so yeah, it's pretty cool. So, I think it's time to test it. Let's start with the usual. Let's start with the blade. Let's see how good it is. Yeah, let's start with some paper. Yeah, not bad. Actually pretty sharp. Multitools quite often come with dull blades. But yeah, to compare, this is my so far favorite blade on the multi-tool. The S35 VN blade from Rocktall, so actually not that far apart. Now some paracord. Also cuts real well when compared to the Rocktall. Yeah, slightly worse. But considering this is my favorite blade on a multi-tool, this thing is not far behind. So yeah. Let's test also with the stick zip tie. Yeah, cut through, no worries. What about the Rocktall? Yeah, a bit easier, but yeah. This blade actually super sturdy, no wobble. That's very nice. So yeah, even the Rocktall has a slight wobble, but I've also used it quite a lot. So yeah. But this one has no wobble. At least I don't feel it. So that's actually super nice. But yeah, now as I already have a couple of zip ties, let's run through the scissor tests. Yeah, let's compare it with the Roxxon. Let's see how they compare. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, when holding them like this, I really like this angle, as yeah, feels super nice. Yeah, very cool. Now compare the Roxxon. Yeah, this feels actually way worse. So quite a difference. The scissors are pretty awesome. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, while we're on zip tie, let's also test the zip tie cutter. And I'll show you why it's actually pretty cool. First off, how it cuts. Yeah, that's actually way easier than with the scissors. They were already pretty great, so it's barely any pressure. And these are the thickest zip ties I have in my local store, so yeah, can't get any harder than this. Barely any pressure. That's actually really awesome. And why they are pretty cool is as they are oriented towards emergency services like police, and yeah, if you have, let's say, handcuffs like this, if you take the scissors, let's make it a bit tighter, yeah, like this. If you take the scissors, there's a big chance you can't get them under like this, as they are pretty thick. And yeah, with the blade, you don't want to cut your hand, so yeah, that's also, yeah, not that good. But with the zip tie cutters, they are very slim, so simply slide this part under, and yeah, pretty cool. I really like it actually. So yeah, let's see. Can I cut anything else? Guess not. Got stuck. But yeah, I guess only hard parts can be cut. Cause yeah, I can't cut this paracord. Yeah, but what about some wood? Yeah, like nothing. So yeah, this is actually really nice. I like it. So yeah, let's also test the pliers and yeah, compare them to the other tools. But yeah, if you prioritize pliers, this might not be the tool for you, as when using the pliers, if you need a lot of pressure on them, this is not that great. It's basically not quite the same, but pretty similar to the scissors on the Roxxon. Has the pliers as the priority and the scissors as the secondary with the small handle, so yeah. But this one is the other way around, so yeah. But this handle is actually way better, so yeah, it feels way more sturdy, so yeah. This one is a bit flimsy. Well, this one is actually quite sturdy, so yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, let's see how they hold. I just noticed these pliers actually have one flat surface and the other is angled. Unlike the usual, you go in a spear direction, or yeah, standard needle nose pliers. So yeah, these ones, yeah, actually might be pretty cool, as if you need to grab something on a flat surface, let's say like this. Yeah, really nice. So let's do a completely scientific test with a zip tie. Let's grab it on both sides, one with the Rocktail, the other with this one. Let's see how they feel when trying to pull against each other. Yeah, is there any wobble? When it comes to ergonomics, the standard, yeah, Rocktail pliers feel quite a bit more comfortable, as yeah, this wide part makes it a bit weird to use. But yeah, for me, actually, I use pliers on multi-tool not that often, so this actually might be pretty perfect for me, at least. I actually prioritize scissors over pliers, as I need to cut stuff way more often. So yeah, as I do usually carry also a ratchet set, so yeah, pliers are not that vital for me. I need them, but yeah, I'll probably get by with ones like these. But yeah, all in all, when it comes to the build quality, I'm actually pretty impressed. Feels really nice, as yeah, these segmented tools like the Roxxon tend to be very wobbly when it comes to the segment parts. So yeah, this is also not that bad, but yeah, this one feels really nice. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. Now let's see how it holds when carrying it. Yeah, let's first test the pocket clip. Let's put it in. Yeah, fits like this pretty well. So yeah, holds fairly sturdy. Let's see. For a multi-tool, it's actually really nice. Yeah, to compare it with the Rocktail, let's put it here. Yeah, it's actually quite sturdy, especially as this quite heavy. This is pretty impressive, and I assume you won't be jumping on your arms, so yeah, This is a pretty extreme test. Normally, even when jumping like this, yeah, still holds in place. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's test also the pouch and yeah, compare it with the closest alternative, which is the Roxxon. They are actually quite similar, but this one is a bit more sturdy. And yeah, this one uses Velcro, and the Roxxon has this, yeah, clip. Let me know which one you like more, but yeah, personally I actually prefer the clip, as Velcros tend to get dirty and yeah, used up, at least for me, usually. But yeah, now let's put it on the belt. Let's put it like this. It's pretty easy to put on, so yeah, it's quite sturdy. This is about an average belt, so it has slight movement. Yeah, let's put the tool in. Let's see how sturdy it is. Actually, quite a snug fit. Yeah. Now, will it go anywhere? Yeah. But it was a pretty brutal test. I'm guessing you won't endure such shaking on your own, but who knows. Let's try a bit of a normal jog like this. Yeah, pretty good. It does jump a bit, but the movement is there. So yeah, if you're running, you'll probably hit your leg like this. So I'll personally carry it with the pocket clip. It's really nice, so yeah. But this pouch, it's not bad. Yeah. And one more thing I almost forgot to test is the seatbelt cover. First off, it's pretty easy to get it out. It doesn't lock in place, but yeah, holds fairly sturdy. Yeah, at least it feels pretty sharp. Let's see how it cuts. As seatbelt covers, or yeah, rope covers, do tend to be very dull on multi-tools. I've experienced it. Like on the Rocktal. Let's find it. I'm pretty sure it had one. Or yeah, had on the serrated blade as yeah, a gut hook, or yeah, can be used also as a seatbelt or a rope cover. But when testing it, yeah, it's quite dull. But to compare this one, let's compare it to my favorite one so far. Yeah, this one, this keychain tool. It's super sharp. Yeah. But this one is about the same, so yeah, pretty cool. As this is the best seatbelt cover I've had so far, so if this one is close, yeah, pretty cool. But to test it out properly, let's take a belt. First off, the one to beat. Yeah, like this. Now, the contender. Let's test with this one. Let's hook it in. Yeah, this actually might be even better. Yeah, pretty cool. Is up now. Yeah, this one has been my go-to when I need to cut a belt or wherever. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, but this one works very nice. Yeah, very cool. But yeah, what else to say? It's pretty cool. Yeah. One downside I saw was the pocket clip can only be used in one position. Doesn't have screws for it any other place, so that's not too good. if you're left-handed, so yeah, can't switch it up. But yeah, other than that, it's super cool. I actually really like it. One other thing to consider, it is a bit more expensive than all the other tools I compared it to, as yeah, it costs around 100 bucks. Well, this one is, I believe, 70, and this one is about 50 or 60. So yeah, it's a bit more expensive, but with the quality you get, yeah, I think it's worth it. At least if you need the tools it has, as yeah, it's pretty unique. Yeah, overall, I really like it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, if you want to pick one up, I'll leave the links in the description. And yeah, if you like this review, leave a like, subscribe, and see you next one. Bye.